What is going on? This is the Bleeding Birdie podcast. I am your host, Jesse Martin. It is April the 20th, the old faithful 420, Keith's favorite holiday.
Why is it my favorite holiday?
I don't know.
Don't put me out there like I'm some pothead.
We have a special guest with us today, Parker Hamlett of Sidelines Washington. Parker, what's going on, man?
Pleasure to be on the show, man. Excited to cut up with you guys. That hat, man, pretty smooth. I'm kind of jealous. I got the basic Dollar General brand one over here. So
no. This
you
was
got me beat the merchandise department.
This was
Then
actually
you got to take a look
to
at
me.
Keith, of course, rocking the traditional Redskins memorabilia. I don't think I've seen him wear anything that has a Washington football team logo on it. Keith, do you even own anything with a Washington football team logo on it?
Yes, he does.
I do, but it's because I got bamboozled. I have actually the same hat, but it's WFT, and it was Hog Farmer Chris who bamboozled me. One day we were talking, this was months ago, and he had my hat size, and he also had my address. I don't know why he had my hat size. I have no idea, but he had my hat size and my address because he sent me those RG3 cleats. And so anyways, long story short, this man went ahead and bought me that hat, and it still sits with the tags on it.
So I totally forgot to introduce Keith, my co-host. Keith, how you doing, man? I'm blowing you over already.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic, man. You know, it's fine. I'm used to being blown over. No, doing good, man. Just living life like everyone else.
Awesome. Yeah, we took a week off last week. Not much was going on. But in the meantime, since we've been off, there's been a couple things that's been happening. First, I want to touch on
Jessy.
What?
I love your beard.
Oh, thank you.
It's looking really fresh tonight.
It was a fuck.
When you look good, you feel good, right?
I do feel good. I do.
All right.
I got my new motorcycle. I got my beard's looking all right. I was trimming it, and I totally used the wrong guard, and that's why I cut it a little bit shorter. But I let the goatee going. It's pretty good. It's got some nice flavor savers too.
I just wanted the folks to know that your beard's looking fresh. That's all.
Hey,
for those who are watching,
y'all can jump on YouTube. On YouTube and
my mom and cousin will be happy to know because they're the only ones that watch.
Yeah. I want to touch first of all the murder of George Floyd, Derek Chauvin. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. The verdict came down today, and he was found guilty, and rightfully so. That was such an impact on not only the world, but especially the sports world. And I kind of want to, just for a second, get your guys' take on it. Parker, I'll start with you. How did it make you feel when you saw that guilty verdict?
Whenever justice is being served, especially in cases like this, it's never going to be a bad thing. It's never going to be bad news. I certainly wish that it would have been like this for a lot of other people who were innocent and fallen victim to this stuff in our country. Like you said, it was a huge shakeup for the sporting world, brought a lot of people together, put a lot of people apart. But after this long, strenuous process, all this tedious, never-ending bullshit, it's nice to finally come to a verdict and see the people get what they deserve.
Yeah. Keith?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with Parker. I look at this situation as there's a long way to go when it comes to police reform.
Oh, yeah.
But this is the beginning of justice being served. I do hope that the families in this situation can rest easy now through this. So I do hope that we take this situation and we continue to build on it and grow. There's a lot of work to be done. And I think we're on the right track. So absolutely 100% happy that he was guilty on all three accounts. And now I hope that, I don't want to say that, everything that's going on in the world today is healing, because there's always something, happening that shouldn't be. But I hope that this is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. They got it right. And I want to give special props to who actually recorded those actions, because without that, I don't know if
It was a young girl, actually.
I don't know if the verdict would have swung that way if it wasn't for that recording. I think like with you guys, this is hopefully a step in the right direction, because things need to change. But yeah, man, it came down. I'm glad it happened and glad it's over with. I hope the family can get some peace. And like I said, rightfully so, guilty as charged. Moving on, I think we'll swing back to the world of Washington. And for the past couple of weeks, there's been some rumors about possibly trading up for, I think the main name that's been floated around is Trey Lance. I kind of went on a tangent our last podcast. I was over the shit, man. I was totally fucking over it. But now more and more people are floating the idea. I think trading up to 4 is kind of ridiculous. But if one of these quarterbacks starting to slide, I think it might be a little bit more feasible. Keith, I want to start with you. What is your take on trading up for, say, a Fields or a Lance, just because those are the 2 quarterbacks that if they were to slide, they'd be the ones to slide?
So I'm going to stand by my caca, right?
I was hoping you'd do that.
Yep, I'm going to stand by it. I believe that there is a quarterback in this draft that WFT really likes. Just not sure who that is. It's been very tight-lipped. I actually would go and stretch as far as to say that they like Wilson. But to trade all the to trade all the way up to that, or if the Jets even were interested in that in the first place, I just don't see that happening. Sticking to my caca, I will stand by that. I do believe we're not interested in Trey Lance. I do believe there is some interest in Justin Fields. And I do believe that the only way that we would trade up, it would not be to the number 4. I don't believe Ron is interested in getting rid of a ton of stock for a guy, to be honest, that he's not even pressed at having. He's not pressed for this position to be filled this year either. So when you take all of that knowledge and you kind of put it all together, to me, it says, will WFT, what the fuck? No, what it says is the team still interested in trading up? I do believe that they are. I believe that if Fields is the guy that slips in this draft, that there could be a good possibility that they could trade up from 19 to maybe the 8th, 9th spot, and it's not going to cost them a ton to do so. Or I shouldn't say a ton. It's not going to cost them as much as if you're moving into the 4 slot, because if you're moving to the 4 slot, Atlanta's looking to make a killing. Atlanta wants to rake you in your asshole at this point. Okay. They want to take everything they can from you. So I just don't believe we're in position for that. So yeah, I do believe that if there's a possibility to trade up, it's going to be Fields. I'm standing by Lance, man, and this fan base just cracks me up. I don't understand the fascination with Lance. I don't. And again, I'm not going to pretend that I'm, again, a college guru and that I've watched these guys' films and that I could sit there and judge and say Lance isn't the guy. I just, again, am going to stand by my caca because I truly trust the person who, has had conversation, and the quotes that were given to me make sense. And on top of that, they didn't attend his second pro day.
I was just going to say that after you talk. Those actions right there should tell you something.
Now people will rebuttal that, and folks will say, well, they didn't need to. Maybe they liked what they saw the first time around.
Come on now.
Well, if you paid attention to my caca, they weren't that impressed. There were some quotes that I didn't put out there. I kind of kept my conversation very slim on the caca, but there were some things that they liked. It wasn't like they just hated Trey Lance, but he's not the guy to trade up for, is a full entire impression. So my personal opinion, we're staying at 19, man. We're not trading up for anything. I don't think Fields is going to be available. I think that all of this is a crapshoot. And I think that once again, we fans, and we're doing it because it's fun, but the fans are, creating these million different scenarios in their head. And at the end of the day, we're going to draft a linebacker at 19.
Yeah, I feel pretty much like I think they do have an eye on a quarterback, and I do think it's Fields too. Parker, what would you give to move up into the 8, 9, 10 range to trade for one of these quarterbacks, or would you even want to trade for one of those two quarterbacks if they were available?
To me, you look at Sunshine going number 1 overall to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
To me, it's him and Fields. Those are the only two in this entire draft that are worth giving up an entire future for, and essentially that's what you're going to have to ask for. I mean, that's what you have to give. Like you said, the Jets aren't going to entertain that conversation too. They already shipped Darnold out of town. 3, the 49ers, who knows what they're going to do? People got their own cacaws going about that. Mac Jones, that nobody knows what they're going to do. Shanahan looked pretty smitten when he saw Fields at his pro day. I think if the Washington football team makes a move at all, it is for Fields. And of course, Rivera is going to say, well, we're going to react to what happens in front of us. Well, no shit, you're going to react to what happens in front of you, because the only reason you're going to get a guy like Fields is if someone in front of you has a just cataclysmic fuck up and just overdraft somebody, or Fields ends up falling down to the 4 spot. I don't think Washington's going to bring enough to a game to trade up to the 4 spot, because whatever you're going to have to give up for that 4 spot is going to have to be more valuable than Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts, in my opinion, is a top 3 player in this draft, and someone that Atlanta could bring in day 1 to be the best tight end they've had since Tony Gonzalez. They're not looking to move Matt Ryan right now. They got him for 2 more years, a ton of dead money. Matt Ryan's not going out of town anytime soon. But Fields is from Georgia. Who gives a shit about that feel-good homegrown story? They did that bullshit with Dwayne Haskins. Yep. Look how that turned out for us. So I don't see Fields going at 4. 5, Bengals are taking that tackle from Oregon. 6, Dolphins are taking calls for the 6th overall pick, but everybody sees them taking best player on the board. 7 is a sweet spot, in my opinion. If Fields falls down to that 7th spot with Detroit, they got a janitor over there as a fucking head coach. Make a phone call. Who knows, that idiot might chomp your knees or whatever the hell he said at his first press conference. And bite on a trade, because I mean, at the end of the day, they're in rebuild mode over there in Detroit, so they're probably want as much draft compensation as humanly possible. Now, speaking of Detroit, for a guy like Matthew Stafford, the compensation we offered for a trade for him was, I think, was a 1st rounder, a 3rd rounder, and a defensive starter. Yeah, right. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right. Exactly right.
So, are we all really going to sit here as grown ass men and say that we think Ron Rivera is going to give up more than that for a guy like Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Not going to happen.
With Fields, I do think with Fields, my friend Douglas McCrae, Big Douglas Show, he said that he thinks it's more of a helmet problem than a tape problem. I agree with that. If Fields was at Georgia, people would be sucking him off. Oh my God.
Right.
There'd be talks of him going number 1 overall. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. If the Washington football team is going to go all in for their quarterback, they need to do it next year. They have a placeholder in Ryan Fitzpatrick for this year. We don't need to be cheeky, be cute, do what the Dolphin did, sit at 19, take the best player on the board.
Yep. No, I 1,000% agree with you. I've been saying this from day 1 of the podcast that Trey Lance, and
he's a project.
He is a project, and he needs to sit at least 1, possibly even 2 years before he even should step on a football field. And that's, I'm not saying he can't be a great quarterback. He's got tools, and he's got playmaking ability. That's not what I'm saying at all. He lacks experience, and I'm tired of going after these quarterbacks that don't have any experience. I'm just look at Dwayne Haskins for instance. I want someone that has some years under his belt, that's seen some things, not no fresh puppy that's been in the FBS that hasn't faced real NFL talent.
And Fields is the only guy who fits that mold.
Exactly. You're 100% right about that. I'd be willing to give up something to go up and get Fields, but I'm not willing to give the amount to go all the way up to number 4. I just don't think we are in that desperate of a need for a quarterback. Keith,
well, and this has been said by a lot of folks, so this is not, a secret, but a lot of people have been down on, Fields only throwing to his first reads, never really going through, progressions. Honestly, that is a sit for a year and type, fix. So I could see that being fixed real quickly, under, Fitzpatrick still being the starter. I do think that if we were to trade up and get Fields, you're still running with Fitzpatrick for the season.
Exactly. Oh, I don't. Yeah, whoever.
Unless he
I
is
think
playing
the only quarterback
absolutely.
that I would start right away would be Trevor Lawrence in this whole entire draft.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Fitz would have Fitz.
Well, they say Wilson's, he's got the tangibles to. But again, here's my thing, though. My whole thing is why are we always acting like that the quarterbacks that get drafted in the first round are going to be the only ones that actually make it in the NFL? We're
It's
so
risky.
right. We're so
Exactly.
fixated. We're so fixated to think that these are the only quarterbacks that are worthy, but there's going to be some quarterbacks drafted in the later rounds
I
that
believe so too.
with the right schemes, the right teams, the right coaching, they're going to come out and be successful, in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm saying they're going to win Tom Brady Super Bowls here, but
it's all about the coaching and the system that they go into.
Yep, it's going into the right spot.
The amount of quarterbacks that have got ruined for being in the wrong spot is unsurmountable. Yeah. I mean, there's so many good prospects that's come out of college and that's just got ruined because they just got drafted into the wrong spot. Yeah, plain and simple.
Which is crazy because you think that these teams that are drafting them based upon their scheme, and they feel that QB is going to, fit that scheme. Yeah. But then in the end, a lot of these quarterbacks don't work out. But it's debatable. We could sit here and go through multiple QBs and say, well, what if this guy was on this team? Do you think his career would be different? Absolutely. And so that's what needs to be into consideration as well. We're so used to drafting early in the first round too. We always feel like that if you don't have that pick, then the guy's not going to be successful. That QB is not going to be successful. So, I'm not even saying if we miss on Fields, I'm still thinking that, we're drafting a QB and we're going to keep drafting until we find our guy.
That's what I've been saying. I said, draft a fucking quarterback every goddamn year. Yep. Something's got to hit.
Yep. Something eventually is going to hit. You're going to find the guy that's going to hit your system and it's all going to work out. But, if we're crazy, if we're thinking that, we're drafting a franchise quarterback right now. And again, just take all of the subtle hints, especially like with Ron Rivera's last press conference. I mean, and again, I know it's smoke season. I know these guys aren't going to come out and tell you, the truth on everything, but I truly believe he's not pressed for a quarterback. No. I truly believe he would rather put pieces on offense, on defense,
build it.
Yep, for the next couple of years and let a journeyman win you a Super Bowl, because that's typically how it goes. And guess what? I don't care who's under center if we win a trophy. I want that trophy.
Exactly. I mean, Fitzpatrick, the signing of him alone just kind of brought to me, Ron was just, whoa, guys. Don't rush the process. I got shit under control over here. And not only that, he's putting this entire rebuild process in a fucking hyper speed if he trades up for a quarterback. You're jumping the gun. And if that guy doesn't work out, your integrity, so right down the fucking shitter.
Right. So how about if we would have never went after Matthew Stafford? Are we still having the same type of conversation? Because we know that they gave up their hands when they went after him. But I say the only reason why they went after him was because he was a veteran and he had multiple years left still that he was available. Right. And he was available and they're in win now mode. So, I don't blame them for swinging, and we missed. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, Ron couldn't get these guys in. Listen, it's these guys' decision. It's not, and no offense to the DMV area, but if you gave me a choice between the DMV or California,
no shit. I mean,
with McVay,
but like you were saying, Keith, other players.
I'm going with the bitches in California. I'm just saying.
Oh hell yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%.
Sorry, ladies, none of you are bitches, just the California ones.
But like you said, building the team around the quarterback, players. They see that other players from other teams, other free agents, they see that. They see what's happening over here. That's why we were able to get a Curtis Samuel. That's why we were able to get a William Jackson.
Yeah.
And it's going to get easier and easier every year because
baby steps.
Exactly. And we have adults running the show now, and it's going to get easier. every year there's quarterbacks coming out of the woodwork from college football. We don't know what's going to happen next year. Okay. There's always a Zach Wilson. Okay. There's always a Mac Jones that it just hasn't happened yet. So there will be other quarterbacks down the line if we do not trade up and get one today.
But I mean, what Keith said, let's branch off that a little bit. It doesn't have to be a day one top 10 pick kind of guy.
No,
we've been hearing about a lot. Kyle Trask. Who knows? He comes in, he could ball out. I mean, he's shown, he was a Heisman candidate at one point. There's a lot of flaws to his game. A lot of people say he relies a lot on Kyle Pitts. But at the end of the day, a day 2, day 3 guy, maybe a Kellen Mond. A lot of people.
Kellen Mond, Davis Mills, even the kid from Texas. There's plenty of quarterbacks that could be molded into something.
Exactly.
Listen, if I'm a QB, right, and I got a tight end at that stature, I'm gonna use them too.
Hell yeah, exactly.
I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah, you're gonna want that. You're gonna want to depend on that guy. He's one of the best on your team. Absolutely. Like, I don't understand why people fault quarterbacks for that. Like, did Kyle Trask make good decisions? Like, these are the things that, let's look at their tape. Did he make good, mechanics? How's his overall mechanics? Oh, okay, they're not bad. Does he make good decisions? Because ultimately that right there is the number one killer in the NFL. You have to make good decisions. And, you have to be able, I truly believe too, how fast defenses are these days. You have to have the natural ability to understand when it's time to break out of that pocket.
Right.
So can that quarterback do that? You know what I mean? So those are the things. And again, I'm just a fan, like, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know, all the ins and outs of how you select a quarterback, but just using common sense. I mean, again, we need to stop thinking that all the talented players are always in the first round, because
everybody wants Mahomes though, man. Everybody wants Mahomes. That's the fucking problem.
But but here's the problem. When Mahomes was drafted, the majority of the people were fucking like, who?
Texas Tech. Where the fuck is that?
Right. I mean, who was that? I remember when he was, because again, I don't know college football as much as a lot of other people do. So I'm like, who? Why would they do that? Okay. They're, it's a backup to Alex Smith, but then, he's coming in now. Mahomes, there might be a different story to his skill set, because he's got a whole new offensive line. We saw how he played in the Super Bowl. He can be rattled. You know what I mean? So again, I guess my point is no one's a Superman, but if you're gonna go with we just got to get out of the mindset that the only option is in the first round. After that, all those other guys are trash, because that's not true. Because
it's just not true.
Russell Wilson's not trash.
No.
In closure on that statement, you look at this quarterback room, they are completely content with this going into this season.
You're right.
You have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's always had some fucking rookie breathing down his neck.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to happen again this year, unfortunately. But, it'd be nice to see what he would do if he didn't have some fucking rookie breathing down his neck. You got Taylor Heineke, who fucking Cinderella man in the playoffs. So, you got a pretty competent backup. You got Kyle Allen on the back burner there as well. This coaching staff is very comfortable with this quarterback room.
Absolutely.
And, I understand how the trade up talk can be enticing. We have been trash in the second round, and we have 2 third-round picks. So, and, throw maybe 1 first-rounder for next year. A lot of people are like, oh, man, throw it up. Go get your guy. But why rush the process? Why? There's just no point.
There's no need to. Agreed. Like you said, that you never know what's going to happen if a certain player can get in a certain system. We could find the next Dak Prescott. We could find the next Russell Wilson. Hell, we can even find the next Kirk Cousin, your boy, Keith.
Fuck out of
You
here.
never know. All right, we can talk about quarterbacks.
I hate y'all. The fact that I hate y'all. I really do. All of you. All of you who supported that, man. Y'all, like, I don't like any of you. Fuck.
Moving on, I want to touch base on this mock draft mania, and this is not about the fans doing their mock drafts, because I like doing them too. They're fun. I run through probably like 2-3 a day. But we have Bucky Brooks doing like 15.45. And is it getting over fucking blown? Parker, I'll start
Absolutely.
with you.
I mean, to tell you everything you need to know about that subject, Charlie Casserly's latest one has fucking Justin Fields falling to 24 to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I saw that was fucking ridiculous.
God, I just fucking bottom barrel scrambling to get content out. I mean, the general consensus with us really is we're taking a linebacker or that guard from USC at 19 is overall what I'm seeing. And, you know, some of them, you got Devontae Smith falling to 19. Like I said on a Manny show, I know the dude's built like fucking Bambi, but I think he's going at least top 15. I don't see an incredibly talented player like Michael Parsons falling to us 19. Sorry, Rio. I know you're probably listening. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think the Washington football team can still get great value, even though they're picking a 19. I don't think being in that top 10 selection is this magical moniker that everybody makes it out to be. You know, I think that there are plenty of players that the Washington football team can get, like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker from Notre Dame, is my personal favorite. He can come in, dude's like a pseudo safety, play middle linebacker, absolutely tear shit up. He'll be an immense upgrade over guys like John Bostic and fucking Cole Holcomb. I don't give a shit about that mullet. Get it out of my face. The guy is a liability in coverage, and we need to go ahead and just put that shit to bed and get a real, true Mike linebacker, not some guy who played good for a couple years somewhere else like Zach Brown. And you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get it. Even though I differ on the Mike linebacker, I'd be happy with us trading back a few spots and grabbing Xavier Collins. I think he can play
cool
anywhere on the lines. JOK, I have my reservations about him, not because he's not a phenomenal player, because he is, and I think
undersized.
We could. I think he'd be a good Sam linebacker. But I'm not sure. I want someone to quarterback that defense. You know, I want someone to be able to run sideline to sideline. I want someone that will be able to drop back in coverage, and I want someone that will be able to rush the passer. And if we can pick up a couple picks, trade back to like 25, grab Xavier Collins, I'd be the happiest motherfucker on the goddamn planet, to be honest with you. I mean, seriously. I'm out on Darasol now, the offensive tackle. I'm a big Virginia Tech fan. But going back to the subject, it seems like these people that are doing these mock drafts, one, they're just doing it for clicks, and it seems like now they're just taking 32 names, balling them up, after the quarterbacks are placed, and just throwing darts now. I mean, Peter Schrager mocked us a fucking running back in the goddamn first round today. And I just think it's fucking ridiculous. Keith, what you got to say on all these wonderful mock drafts you love doing every day? Come on, you're a closet mock draft genius, man.
I mean, I really got nothing on this. I find it interesting that, again, I see a mock draft where someone, put a running back at 19 and folks lost their mind. And to me, that I enjoy that. I enjoy watching people lose their mind. And I enjoy people going through the process of thinking, oh, that could be a good pick, and then you see everyone's thought processes. And I literally just sit back and I'm like, man, this only motivates me to learn more about college football next year, now that I'm podcasting, to actually do some research so I can get in, because I'll be honest, I need a new troll game. My troll game has been weak for a long time. And
it's not that it's been weak. You've just been converted to a rah-rah fan instead of a troll.
Yeah, exactly. I honestly, ever since the name changed, Keith, you've become a pretty nice guy.
God, this is such a terrible information you guys are giving me. Listen, so mock draft, I don't put any stock into it whatsoever. Bottom line is, at 19, if I had to choose, I think we need 2 linebackers, and I think that linebackers are deep in this draft. I think that, if a jock is available, you go and get him, because yes, he is undersized, but he's also speed. And this game is changing to that, and you're going to see these types of guys from the research that I actually have done, that you're going to see these types of guys coming to the NFL a lot more. So why not adjust to it? I think that you have a couple decent picks in the, 2 picks in the 3rd round where, you could still get another linebacker. You could also get your QB as well. So you're not, losing too much in that aspect. You're still sticking to in my opinion, you're sticking to needs, but also BPA as well. So, could Collins, if you trade back, is Collins a first rounder or is he an early second rounder, type of deal? It's just, you have to play your cards right. But I foresee these first 2 picks go in defense. Maybe they go linebacker then safety. I mean, I think a safety, a good safety is still going to be available in the third. Who knows? It's all a crapshoot, and that's why I hate talking about it. And I think that in my past, it's the reason why I never cared about it, because at the end of the day, we were always horrible, and we were always picking in the top 5, and we all pretty much damn near knew every year who we were getting. So now that we're picking 19, and we're pretty much going to be in this, I feel like we're going to be in this 19 to 23 pick the following year, and we're going to be in this category now. I foresee that we're not going to be able to guess. So now all of you motherfuckers with your mock drafts are going to drive me nuts every single year. This has just been the first year where I shut the fuck up about people doing them, because after I did a couple, I understand why people like to do it. So
the mock draft simulator,
Crazy
man,
concept.
it was,
and I'm tired of being the fucking nice guy though, man.
Whoever invented that, they did it right. It's fun. It is fun doing it. I
didn't
have to admit, and Keith found his new hobby on a yearly basis. When
no. I've come a long way though, because the very first mock draft I did this year, I literally picked guys based upon if I thought their names were cool. Right? I'm like, oh shit, that's a cool ass name. Select. Right? But then when I got to the end and I saw that I had a D-, I'm like, oh fuck, that ain't the way to do it.
Oh yeah, they do give you grades.
All right, moving on. Give me the grades.
So we were kind of just touching on that with the last subject. Our dream pick at number 19. I want you to give me what you really want, the player that you really want, and then use your heart for that one, and then use your head for what you think that Washington is going to do. Parker, I'll start with you.
So a dream scenario for me, and you're gonna have a lot of people say, and I've kind of already showed my hand on this a little bit, but you're gonna have a lot of people say, oh well, we went out and got Curtis Samuel, we went out and got little great value Wes Welker and Adam Humphries, we got Terry McLaurin. We don't need a wide receiver. If a guy like Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle falls to 19, they're the best skill player on the board. You take them. I'm sorry.
I think
you match that guy with Terry McLaurin. You put Curtis in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Fitz is over there jerking off at the pre-draft party. Yeah. I'm fucking ready. Let's go. I'm start slinging these motherfuckers. I'll close my eyes. I don't care. He's gonna go fucking nuts, and you got to make that move. I mean, look, let's not sit here and try to devalue Devontae Smith just because of him being slightly undersized. Dude is the best fucking route runner I've ever seen. Not even out of Alabama. I mean, Amari Cooper's a pretty good route runner coming out of Alabama, but Devontae is just a generational fucking talent. I mean, he completely took over games, and having a guy like that on the offense would be absolutely just it would take us to the next level. Because, as we know, it's all about taking Terry out of the game, taking Terry out of the game plan. You add another guy on that other side, and he's on a rookie contract, Heisman winner, sensational talent, packs on a little bit of more weight, bulks up in the weight room a little bit. You can bulk up, man. It's not as hard as people think it is. I think he'll have a lot more success than a guy like Jerry Jeudy. So Devontae Smith is a guy who I would love to fall to 19. Micah Parsons is another guy I would love to fall for 19. I don't care what he put in whose butt at Penn State. That's none of my business. I'm talking about being a contributing factor for the Washington football team in 2021.
Well, Parker, one thing's for sure is he wasn't Darius Guys trying to finger Meemaw at LSU.
Meemaw, oh my God. I was listening to Rio's show. That shit killed me, man. Guys was a deviant, man.
Oh yeah.
God, that guy was a fucking psychopath. He was what Reuben Foster, people thought Reuben Foster was. I mean, it was crazy stuff, but that could be a whole nother podcast.
Oh yeah, it sure can.
Honestly, when it comes to 19, if I'm being smart, I'm taking Collins or JOK, whoever's on the board. I think I'm gonna go with JOK just because I think he can crash down the middle a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for. That speed is undeniable. He's a little bit undersized. You can also put him back at safety if you wanted to. A lot of comparisons he's been getting. I talked about this a little bit on another show. A lot of people have been talking about him like in the same light as like an Isaiah Simmons. And Isaiah Simmons didn't come in the league and have a lot of immediate success at first.
He got better over the year though.
Yeah, he did get better over the year, and I think the Jack Del Rio will find a way to incorporate either Collins or JOK into this defense, and it'll be seamless for them. But I can definitely understand you having more of appeal towards Collins with him being the more traditional Mike backer. And man, that guy's a thumper.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, if JOK would gain about 10, 12 pounds, I think all bets are on the table then. He's a phenomenal talent. And
I'm a Notre Dame fan too.
He can cover the slot and he can kick back to safety too. So he's immensely talented, and he would definitely be an asset. I just think we do have players like him already. Kalike Hudson,
True.
Cam Curl's kind of maybe he's not maybe as big as him, but you have Collins too. There's some interesting comments that I think people Washington Wire totally fucked that quote up, but Ron said that he insinuated that Collins could play a little bit of linebacker. We'll see how that fits. But there's a lot of the same type of player. So I don't know. I think if JOK would be able to gain a few pounds, I think he'd be great. It all depends. Keith, before I give my picks, what does your head say and what does your heart say we should do with 19?
My heart says you go linebacker. And my heart says if you do that, you are going, JOK, you are going Collins. But my head says, which I would have to agree with Parker, if there is a top wide receiver available, you make that move. And you make that move in hopes that you can pick up, Jabril Cox potentially under the linebacker in the third round.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great value pick. In that round, if he stays there, I don't know. A lot of these guys, we're getting, who was the other one? Davis.
Yeah. Jamin Davis. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
he's kind of came out of nowhere. He was, I had him as a late second, early third round pick, but lately,
so did all my mock drafts.
Lately he's been coming up as a late first round pick. So
I think with the linebacker talent in the first 3 rounds, you could get away at 19 with drafting a wide receiver like Parker said, and still be able to pick up your linebacker in the third round. So I think that would also be a smart move. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, because the way that free agency unfolded, we didn't really pick up a linebacker besides David Mayonnaise. We have
Mr. Miracle Whip.
Yeah, we have.
He had no one up you.
We have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. 2 of them need to be linebackers. There are some good linebackers on the table, and my heart wants Xavier Collins. I've been wanting Xavier Collins, and I don't care if we pick him at 19. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. I don't care if his value's at 23 to 27. I don't give a shit. 19. I think I've been following that guy for a couple of years now, and I think he's going to be one of the better linebackers in the league. That's just who the fuck am I though? My head says Darrisaw, even though that I really there's some question marks to his game, especially in blitz pickup and pass blocking. He doesn't like to finish plays as well, but I'm going off from everything that I'm reading from our local reporters said John Kime.
You don't know this on your own?
Been standing.
I actually had Logan Paulson on Washington Brawl, and he talked a lot about him. And he broke down. He said that his run blocking is fantastic, but his hands are just slow, man. They're just slow.
He is, and I'm worried about that. And I may be in the minority about this, but I thought Lucas did perfectly fine. I thought
he did. Morgan been shopping, but
yeah, I thought he earned himself another year as a starting left tackle. But I'm in the I'm in the minority about this, and he has not been given a adequate shot in his career to actually handle the full load. Yes, he would be a better swing tackle, but he was good enough, and now we actually have someone under center that has some mobility as well too. So that's only going to help him. So I don't think I want to shore up this fucking defense. I want to shore up this defense. I want to make it rock solid. I want to for the opposing offenses that we're playing to fear them. I want to take care of linebacker, and I want to take care of free safety. That needs to be done within the first 3 rounds. Period. To me, I mean, I think we did a good job.
So aggressive,
I
Jessy.
am fucking aggressive today. This is Jesse's motherfucking corner right now. Fucking finish the defense, god damn it.
I mean, he might as well have said, well, if you don't fucking draft that, you guys are pieces of shit because I'm the expert.
Yeah.
It's like putting that. It's like in fucking Infinity War when he puts that final stone in the gauntlet. That last guy, man. That last guy.
Yeah. I mean, we're close, man. We were hoarded and fucking
We're close to an
in the run
8-9
game last
record.
year.
Yeah,
Moving on. Let's talk about this bullshit list of potential names that was sent out to season ticket holders and some media members.
Buckle in.
These names, I can't wait.
Keith,
Oh,
how
it's
do
my
you
turn.
feel about the Washington Rubies?
The Washington Wayfarers. What was
That's
it,
the worst one.
the Washington Belters? Like, listen, the way that they went about doing it, which was interesting because when I got the email and I'm like, and it did say in the email that it wasn't all the names, and so I'm like,
I think there was like 4 different lists of names that went out or something like that.
So there was, but so I took a screenshot and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to snitch this on Twitter. And then I'm like, oh, I can't do it, man. Jason, right? Like, I don't want Jason to say shit. But then I come to find out, all these motherfuckers were snitching on the West. I mean, it was like, it went out there quick, and it was check marks that were doing it too. Listen, people are putting what I find interesting is once people saw the names that were on the list, we automatically shifted from Washington football team to this ridiculous Red Wolves scenario, where it was just such a huge push with that. To after the survey comes out, everyone starts talking about, hey, what about warthogs? I'm like, well, this name isn't new. We discussed this a long time ago before the Red Wolves revolution happens. These types of things, or hogs. It's just interesting. And listen, there was none of you, did either of you get the survey?
No, I just saw
okay. So to give you a heads up, so
not cool enough
to give. Well, see, I didn't get it either because I'm actually the secondary under the account. So John, who I'm going with, it's under his main account. He actually had to forward it to me, and on this list, what it did basically was it asked you to select 5 team names that you like and 5 team names that you dislike, right? And yep. And then it asked you a series of questions. What don't you like about this? Is it offensive? Is it? So my point of telling you guys this is not because I got some kind of inside information, but the fact is that they're just going through the motions, with all of the names. But if you collectively take a look at the names, you have Washington football team, you have Washington football club, you have Warriors, you have Red Wolves, you have Wolves, you have, these top names that I guarantee you out of those 5 to 6 names, one of those is going to be the name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they're not coming out of the woodworks to, surprise everyone and be like, hey, we're the Washington fuck ups. Ha, surprise. They're not going to do that, right? They're collectively gaining all of the information. Excuse me. And, an ultimate decision is going to be made. So, it's just, the whole thing is interesting. And I think even myself, Parker, you actually tweeted out, and I loved it, man. I was dying laughing when you were like, which is true. You were like, if anyone who hates Red Wolves but can literally say that they like these other names, then you have lost your damn mind. Basically, you are
oink, but you won't how?
Correct.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What?
Correct. And even I said, listen, believe it or not, out of all those names that were on the survey that I took, Red Wolves was on there, and so was Warriors. And I have to tell you, I went with number 1, number 2 as Washington football, or number 1 and number 2 as Red Wolves. Because listen, I hate Red Wolves. I hate Wolves. I think Red Wolves is stupid. If we end up Wolves, I can learn to live with that.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I hate to cut you off, but I got to have this conversation because this has been, like you said, ever since Warthogs came out, it started the conversation up again. Like you said, it's leaking all these pictures. Okay, I can understand why people don't like the whole Red Wolf things. People try to make it like this local, like nature story, and I can get how that's cringy. I can understand that. But at the end of the day, with the whole Wolves thing, whether it be Red Wolves or Wolves, it is what you said at the beginning, a revolution. If it's a popularity contest, it's not even fucking close anymore. Yeah, that is the most popular name, and it's not even close. If they are actually taking information, the information stacks with Red Wolves. And I'm not saying this shit to get Tyler's dick hard. I'm not saying this shit to get everybody on Washington Football Team Twitter's dick hard, who's on my side of the story or on my side of history, if you will. I'm saying this because it's just the truth. To me, Wolves is the perfect middle ground. You take off that stupid bullshit connotation with the Red Wolf and Virginia this and Virginia that. You take that off. You're the Washington Wolves. Join the Wolf Pack. How? Blah, blah, blah. If you can look me dead in the eye and tell me that oinking is better, by all means, do it. But I think if it's Red Wolves or Wolves versus a lot of these names, even no matter how you feel with the Red Wolves name, it's just better.
Yeah. I agree. I do agree with that 100%. Like I said, Red Wolves to me, I felt was just push because we're trying to keep the HTTR. Wolves, like I have the same guy. I don't want to call him out. Okay, I'll call him out. Hercules. This guy has been on the Red Wolves bandwagon since day one, which is fine. Yes, there is a tie to Wolves and Native American, so I could live with Wolves as being the final team name. And I would be lying to myself if I said that, the Red Wolves was completely awful compared to some of these other team names. I would just be lying. So I have to speak the truth. Even though I don't like the name, I have to speak the truth. And I'm looking out for the team's best interest in the sense of, I know that they don't care specifically about my alone opinion.
The marketing you could do.
Correct. There is a lot that you can do with it, and I can learn to live with Wolves because I would say, okay, at least it ties into Native American history. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not going to work. Listen, Native Americans can't have everything, right? We got rid of a term that was considered to be a slur. Wolves is not a slur. So the name's not going anywhere. And if that's the name that's chosen, right? My opinion is, do I want to be football team? No, I don't want to be known as football team. Washington football. Okay. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better than Washington football team. But is it great? Can you market that? It's a lot harder, because you don't have that actual moniker. Do we want to be Hogs? Hey, I'm all for trying to tie the history, but think about it. Washington Hogs. Well, no, listen, I'm for tying in history. But let's think about 80 years from now. Is Washington Hogs the best name to choose? No, it's not. No. And you have an organization who's run a fucking muck with females in there. Is naming yourself after a pig a good idea? Is that good for PR sense? No, it's not. And okay, so
very good point, Keith. Very good point.
Right. So does it make it any better if you say warthog? I'm sorry, but I don't want to be part pig, part STD.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't want to be known as the Washington gonorrheas. The Washington syphilises.
And get that fucking Cristiano Ronaldo CCFC bullshit out of my face.
Right.
We're soccer team, dude. I'm not doing that. I love you, Andy Burrows. I love everybody across the pond. I love all my friends over there. But at the end of the day, this is America, and we're a football team. Okay,
correct.
It's gonna be an animal. It's gonna be an animal. I know that. I can at least.
It's got to be
assure that much.
Yeah.
Listen, if we end up Warriors, I'm fine. I'm good. I can tell you this though, my stance, the Red Wolf stance, has definitely changed over the past year. I think that I hated the revolution of it just because I was so fucking mad about the team name being ripped from us.
Yeah.
And the way the social media team was going about it, like this was cool as shit. Like all right, it might be cool as shit to y'all, but I don't enjoy watching a video of y'all ripping down something that I've rooted for 41 years of my life. And so, man, I was just an angry, old, grumpy man that was just like, man, hey, you kids, get the fuck off my lawn.
Hey, man.
But
hey.
a year later, I'm like, all right, y'all come on, y'all can play. Y'all can play a little baseball back here.
Cooking some hot dogs.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't say kids because that sounds really bad too. That sounds like I'm a pedophile.
Politically correct.
Chester.
Bring your parents, and we can all have a cookout in the backyard and play some hopscotch and shit, whatever it is that we do.
Make sure you're vaccinated.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, like I said, I'd be lying to myself if I said that was a terrible name. But man, when you look at those other names, awful, just complete shit.
Monarchs, presidents, wild hogs, aviators, ambassadors. What the?
So, in my personal opinion, it's either got to be Warriors football team or Wolves.
Yeah, if we're Washington football, I'm okay with that. Drop the fucking team, get that shit out of here. I'm tired of fucking looking at the goddamn TV and seeing Cowboys, Giants football team fucking
when Madden
Eagles.
says that too.
It's fucking irritating. I think it's fucking disrespectful as hell. Just fucking put Washington, goddamn it.
I mean, with the whole, and it's the last thing I'll say about it.
I want to be mad about your banner back there. I really do. I want to, because it wasn't the W that won that. I know.
You remember that, right? I was getting blasted. I was like W or L, and man, people were coming after me.
I wanted to, but I was like, damn, I actually like Parker, man. Fuck. And then I know my hypocritical ass a year from now will have the same shit. So I was like, and then Parker's gonna come at me and be like, yeah, you hypocrite asshole.
Then it'll be you. That's how it works, man. That shit once you're on social media, man, that shit comes full circle. But I mean, honestly, I cannot fault you for feeling that way about the name changing. I think I was talking to Sean or somebody on Twitter about this the other day. You guys have all these precious memories, Super Bowls, championships, spending time with your dad, all these precious memories. What do I have? Nothing. This is like I have what people tell me, quite frankly. I mean, you watch that shit on VHS tapes. But at the end of the day, with Snyder, it was a soul for a soul. The only way he was going to get full ownership of that team was if he changed that name. And Dan had to do what was best for business. And I got to give everybody in the front office credit, man. The rebrand, they've taken it by the balls. But I definitely agree with Keith when I say some of that merchandise. Oh my God.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's rough.
That's rough.
Which is why I think that you need that moniker. You need that branding opportunity, and sorry, Jesse, I know you wanted to move on.
No, you're good.
To touch base on what Parker said. See, this is a year ago. I didn't care about your feelings on that, right? Because I was so mad about the name being taken away. But as a year has gone by, I've kind of have grown through this process as a man. And I was like, they do have a valid point, man. What is it that they've actually had to cheer for? They've seen nothing but losing.
Thank you. I said it a year ago on the Capitol Hill podcast. I said it for weeks.
How could you have pride in the name if you've seen nothing but losing? And so it took a little while for me to clear my head and get a better understanding as to, because I kept saying to myself, how are people so cool with this? Like, why did people just roll over? Yeah, you can't really make a difference, but people were not as vocal as I thought they would have been. And man, I led the vocal ship on that one. And not many people jumped on board with me, because again, you're talking about something that was deemed as a racial slur. And I think my biggest overall factor was if the majority of the Native American community would have came together and said, look, we can't do this. This is terrible. This hurts us. This hurts my kids. I would be far more accepting to letting it go and bringing in this new era, far more accepting and understanding and show empathy and, and so on. But the way that it went down on a financial standpoint.
Look at people now. They're still calling us the fucking Redskins.
I know.
All the time.
And it's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's going to be a very tough transition. It's going to take many years to get through. But like I said, I wanted to touch base though, because like you said, Parker, that was one thing that I didn't take into consideration as to why I'm a little bit more chill with this whole process, because guys, your age, it ain't your fault that we lost. and you don't have those glory years that us old heads talk about, so I'm willing to let go of the glory years. I'm also even willing to throw out there now, if we're going to go Warriors and Red Wolves, let's change up the uniforms too. We can still be burgundy
Agreed.
and gold.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But listen, let's start a whole new era of everything.
You gotta let it go.
Update
You gotta let that
everything,
past go. The HGTR is dead, man. It's dead and buried.
Yeah.
Listen, exactly. So is that song. Okay, it's done. It's retired. Let it all go. Let it go. Let's start something new and fresh. We can still keep the colors. We can still brand the 1932 to show that we're not letting go of the history of this franchise. But let's come in with a new look. I'm okay with it at this point, because why not? Why come in trying to change your name but having the same old look? It just doesn't make sense to me. Let's freshen it up and be badasses the way that
what a breath of fresh air, Keith.
I know. Fuck, man. This is that nice shit that you're talking about. Like, this is where I'm being logical and I'm making a lot of sense, and I really don't fucking like it, to be honest. Like vegetables, fucking no one should.
Driving Jessy crazy.
Oh shit! No, you know what? Yeah, I asked Keith to come on to the show because he was the Washington Twitter troll, and because all this nonsense has been happening, it's totally changed his view on things, and I got to rethink my co-host. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Before we go, I wanted.
It's because of my lisp, isn't it? It's because of my lisp. I'm sure it's because I can't hear from this ear a little bit. I get it. It's fine, Jessy.
I want to touch on. We had 2 retirements the past couple days. Obviously, Alex Smith turned in his cleats after. Was probably the greatest comeback in NFL or possibly even sports history from the injury that he's had. I don't want to get your thoughts on what not of what he did with the Redskins or Washington per se, but Alex Smith's career. He's had a lot of ups and downs. Parker, I'll start with you. What if you had to kind of do a snapshot of Alex Smith's career in about a paragraph, what would you say?
Well, on the sentimental side of it, I would call him a warrior. I was at the game where his leg pretty much went 90 degrees, and it was absolutely horrifying. And I realized after a 6-3 start that our season was essentially over. And, that was a great start to the year. FedEx was rocking. I know we weren't exactly winning that game at that given moment, but with Alex Smith under center, we were fresh off Kirk Cousins. Our defense was competing. There was energy in the building. Alex Smith was finally in a situation where he didn't have somebody right behind him waiting to take his job, and he could lead this team to hopefully what probably would have been a playoff run. But, I guess we'll never know that. To me, Alex Smith has always been kind of like the good luck Chuck of quarterbacks. He's the guy you meet right before you meet your husband. He's never been the guy, but he's always been a guy, and a guy that shows up, works his ass off, is a great role model, great person in the locker room. And it really bothered me when Haskins was in the building that he didn't just come in and completely soak all of that up, because Alex Smith's journey all the way back to even getting into a position where he could walk on the field against the Rams and have Aaron Donald jump on his fucking back.
Like a JanSport backpack. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. That shit gave me a heart attack. Anyway, I digress. Just Alex Smith has been a fighter his entire career. Had kind of a rough start with the San Francisco 49ers, being the first overall pick. And, people say what they want to about that pick in hindsight with Aaron Rodgers, and all that jazz. But, near the end of his tenure there, he played his ass off, ended up losing his job to Kaepernick, who's not even in the league anymore. Then he goes to Kansas City, revitalizes his career. I think it was 2018. He had pretty much an MVP caliber season. Yep. They had a lot of the same weapons that they do now. And, he was lighting it up, man. And, they just made the move for the young buck because Washington was calling because they knew Kirk was out of town. And Alex Smith came over here and looked like it was the beginning of a really beautiful thing. But as it happens often, so life just happens, man. And Alex got put in a situation that I don't think any of us thought he would ever be in, especially with all those crazy correlations with Theismann. I mean, it was eerie, man. It was eerie. Being there, it was horrifying. And, it was really hard not to root for the guy this year to come back on the field. And, for him to come back help us advance to the playoffs, even if we limped all the way in there. I mean, I know we were limping on the podcast. I had Keith and Hillary on that night, so it didn't really feel like this huge crowning moment, but it was definitely something to celebrate. To me, the cherry on top for Alex Smith's career. People can say what they want to about him not winning a Super Bowl, but Alex Smith has always been a warrior. He's always been a hard worker. He's always been very, studious in the film room. He's always been a guy that people around the league can look up to, and hopefully people can, model after him. And I think they should name the damn award after him at this point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Keith?
Hold on a second. My son's trying to give me a hug.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Well, nice guy, Keith. Give it up.
Hey.
He's got his
Yeah.
He's got his shirt off and he doesn't want to show it. Come here.
Papa Keith.
Come on, you're not going to be on camera. Hurry up, because we ain't got all night. Everybody's got stuff to do. All right, bud, I love you.
Thank you.
All right. Alex Smith, thank you for your service.
I like that.
Well,
I like that.
Thank you for your service. I mean, you see that leg, bro? That shit looked like you went to Six Flags and got one of those fucking turkey legs, bro. God
yeah.
damn.
There's the Keith we all know and love. Go ahead.
I agree with what I know y'all love Alex Smith. I'm gonna say this. He came in, he tried to do well for us. We had a 6-3 record before he went down. No one expected the man to come back. He did. He did his best with the tools that he had. I don't think any of us could have ever have done that. So I commend him for that. I think he made the right decision by retiring. Don't put your body anymore in jeopardy the way that you did. Now's the time to spend with your family, because as we're all learning, or will learn, Parker, you don't have kids, right?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Jessy, man, it goes fast.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, when you play in a demanding league like this and you aren't with your kids all the time, it's bad, man, and it goes fast. So, I think, in the end, he came out a hero, whether he threw people under the bus or not, with that weird ass GQ interview. Right into the sunset, man. Enjoy the rest of your life with your beautiful wife and your amazing kids. So that's all I got to say. I don't want to be disrespectful, but that fucking leg, man, you go to Six Flags, stand in line to get yourself a fucking turkey leg, bro. I mean, and that you could call that the Alex Smith special.
God. Alex, to me, he what he went through, he became my favorite player overall in the NFL, just because of the fight that he endured, and to coming back to even to walk again. I mean, he was as Keith said, that turkey leg, it was nasty. That Project 11 show, I will look back on that if there was ever a time that I will use him, say, through any adversity. I would look back on that and be like, listen, if that man can come back after what happened to him, you should be able to do it.
He was septic.
He was on his deathbed. Yeah, he was on his deathbed. I mean,
and
let's
that's
not play
nothing,
that down.
Yeah, and that's nothing, for someone like me to even joke about. I mean, the guy, almost lost his life with that infection. So, my bad. I mean, it still looked like a turkey leg, but I didn't wish, the man to, pass away from this, crazy, ridiculous looking injury by any means.
Do y'all think he should go in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah, that's not something I can really.
To me, no, but it was something I saw on.
If
Twitter.
Edelman's no, then Alex Smith's definitely no.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, you look at his overall history. I mean, what do we give putting him in the Hall of Fame for being a hero and coming back from that devastating injury? I mean, no, man, the guy walked out a hero. At the end of the day, he walked out a hero. He defined things that no one thought man could do. And I think that is going to be his legendary status for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
And I think Alex Smith's name brought up in history, that's going to be talked about. And you know what? If I was Alex Smith, I would be A-okay with that, because that is an accolade that anyone should be proud of.
Hell of a legacy, man.
Yep.
Hell of a legacy.
Moving on, Jordan Reed retired today after a oft injured career. A lot of people were pissing me off today, calling him soft. And I don't know if you can even call any player that's played in the NFL soft. The hits that he took, very damaging. But he was fantastic when he was on the field. I mean, he was great. He was electric. When he was always a threat. Every time he ran a route. I just wish he would have stayed healthy. Keith, you have any thoughts on Jordan Reed?
Thank you for your service. I mean,
Episode title.
I mean, you're not wrong, but if you look up his stats, he had, I believe it was 132.2 concussions
Shit.
per game. Okay, that's exaggerating.
Died on the cross for Kirk Cousins' sins every season.
Oh my
man.
God, every season. I don't disagree with anything you said, Jesse. Just again, another smart decision. I mean, just quit. Quit. Your life is not worth the NFL.
I was shocked he even came back last year, to be honest with you.
Or the NFL's not worth your life. You get what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying.
It was very reminiscent of Alex Smith. I think he just wanted to do things on his own terms. I think that's what Scheffner kind of put out. He was able to go to San Francisco, kind of show he still had it in a sense. It was all about kind of getting closure for himself, I guess. His one good season being that 2015 year, I think he had 11 touchdowns. Outside of that, he never had another double-digit season. Like he said, he had like 1 million concussions. I mean, your brain is just not worth football. I mean, Luke Kuechly had to walk away from the game. So
he was working out and got a concussion from working out. That's how bad it was.
Brain dead.
I mean, if that right there doesn't tell you this game's not for you anymore, I don't know what will. I was surprised he continued on.
And if people are going to sit here and play down the physicality of the NFL, we're talking about how the game kicked his ass. Some people never even get to get started. Look at Bryce Love, the guy, third round pick 2019, Heisman hopeful at Stanford.
All the talent in the world. Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I mean, when he was on the field, he was an absolute phenom. He doesn't even get started here because of just injuries, man. And when it comes to your brain, Keith's talking about playing with his kids in the front yard. If Jordan Reed keeps playing football, he's not going to be able to do that. Right. So there's some decisions that are way bigger than football. So I'm happy for Jordan Reed.
I am too. I hope he has I hope he finds a good career afterwards. I mean, it's in football. It seems to be the direction that
he made his money.
Goes.
Yeah, right. He's got money.
Right.
I hope he, spends time with his daughters. And like he said, thank you for your service.
He worked hard as a Redskin, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Couldn't ask
for
with the fans anything more.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I remember having a small conversation with him at Richmond training camp. He was a good guy. Definitely a good guy. Keith, no Keith Corner this week. You got anything else, my man?
No, I don't have any rant today. I will say this. I'm gonna go soft again. And I say this just because I think it's the right thing to do. So this isn't going to be a rant, but this is going to be a serious Keith Corner that I'm going to throw down real quick.
Okay.
In the past on the podcast, I've made a lot of jokes about you can meet me in the red zone lot. You can do this, you can do that. Obviously, I'm poking fun at some things that indirectly a lot of people don't know why I'm, saying things like that. At the end of the day, I'm a grown man with kids and a family, right? I have everything to lose. I'm not losing it for someone who wants to come after me in a red zone lot. So I will say this, that if anybody decides that they're going to come and try to steal my fun of being a season ticket holder this season, it ain't going to happen. It's going to be none of that. But what I will say is, if you want to come, you want to open up a beer and we talk, I'm game. And I'll just leave it mature and just say it just like that. I'm game, because I think all this extra nonsense that goes on that, I don't really pay any attention to, it all needs to stop. It all needs to stop. And I think that it stops by two people being men about a situation, talk, handle it, and let it go. That's the way that it needs to be, because I'm not letting anyone steal my fun this season, being a season ticket holder. I'm not looking to fight anyone, and I'm not looking for anyone to come and threaten me for any type of reason either. So if this person listens to the show, you know exactly who I am referring to you, and invitations open, and we can do this. If not, stay away from me. That's all I ask. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. There's a Chris Bryant rah-rah, and then there's the grown-ass men fighting over a National Football League version of rah-rah. There's no reason anybody should be throwing fists. Family, kids, dogs, iguana, hamster, it doesn't fucking matter. This team's not good enough to be fighting over. I'm sorry. People can say whatever they want to. They can have disagreements on Twitter, but for it to ever get to that level, you don't get it misconstrued with fear. It's just a matter of priorities and a matter of people putting this way too high on their list of priorities in their lives.
So you said it perfectly. This has nothing to do with fear whatsoever. This has everything to do with me being a man. If you want to come and have a grown man conversation, and we talk things out and we put everything to rest, I am more than happy to do so, because I don't want my season of fun to be taken away. And the people that I'm hanging with are also the people that are being attacked as well. And it's it's unnecessary. So at this point, like I said, it has nothing to do with fear, but I have everything to lose, and I'm not willing to lose it for anyone, not over a football team.
I think if someone wants to throw hands as a mature adult, I think that's fucking ridiculous in the first goddamn place.
Bigger problems.
Yeah, you need to look at yourself in the fucking mirror, and ask yourself, do I really want to do this? Like seriously, how fucking old am I?
And the reason why that I bring this up is because after the decision was made for that trial, of course, a Twitter goes and pops off, and then everyone was, a lot of people were screenshotting what was being said, and I didn't pay it any attention. I figured the attention that I'll pay it right now is, again, not to put anyone down, not to call anyone trash, not to continue this ridiculous scenario that's been going on for the past 6, 7, 8 years. It's more of at this point, it's not out of fear. I'm just more of, I want to have a good time. I don't want anyone ruining my good time. And if that means tossing you a beer and we drink one together, I'm cool with it. And, so that will go back to the nice guy, Keith, because that's the way that I want to handle it. Because when I look at certain teaching moments with my kids, that's the way that I would want my kids to handle when they're in a situation that, isn't the best, so again, that's just the way I see it. So sorry to get, so serious.
It's all good. It's well said.
Well said.
Yep. Sorry to get serious, but it's something I've dealt with for the past 8 years. And I've always said, I made my bed, I got to lay in it. Right. But at the end of the day, man, this is football supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be any of this. And
for fans of the same damn team, for God's sake. I mean, shit.
It's something that actually Keith and Rio were talking about, how they're going to say that there's too many podcasts out there now. This is a way to bring everybody together, man. Mm-hmm. Rooting for this team is fucking hard. And there are going to be moments where you're bitter, you're fucking mad, you don't know why Rivera went for it on a 2-point conversion. That's not a reason to come for somebody, their livelihood, their fucking family. None of that shit. This brings us together on Sundays. And if it's doing anything other than that for you, you need to go get your fucking life together and then come back and wear the burgundy and gold. Yep. That's how.
Exactly.
Yep. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm here for a good time, baby. Come to the red zone lot. Not to fight though, but we can drink a beer.
I'll pass you a cold one.
I'll give you my unseasoned steak.
Nice.
Parker, you got a new gig going on now. Why don't you tell listeners about it?
Yes, I do. Appreciate you guys letting me come on. I'm now a part of the Sideline Sports Network. Me and my buddy Graham Smith cut a little deal here recently. I'm now the head of NFL operations over there. So we're recruiting, getting a Sideline Sports account for every NFL team. I'm running the Washington Football Sidelines _ WFT on all social media with Rio Robinson. He's got his own show, Raw Podcast. Rio does a great job. He actually had Keith on there not too long ago. Rio's just an awesome guy. Love the energy he brings to the show. Adam Aniba, the Bergen Goal Report, the Draft Connoisseur. This is his time of year, man. Love the dynamic we got going over there. Just had our debut episode. Got a lot of really good feedback. I know tomorrow we're having on Chris Russell from the Locked On Washington podcast. Excited to bring him onto the show. Excited to cut up with him. So here's the fresh beginnings. Appreciate you guys letting me come on, man. Meant a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate you coming on. Well, for Keith, I am Jessy. You can catch me on Twitter at Jessy's24. Keith is at KG Skins 26. Oh, wait a second. You got a new Washington jersey.
Yeah, we're mine too.
Listen, when people say
Washington jersey, not a Redskins jersey, a Washington jersey.
Jesus.
Retire 26.
Yeah. Listen, I love me some me, and I have and I'm going to the red zone lot. I got to advertise me. So you will be able to catch me, yes, in my Washington jersey. Listen, I know this is going to sound stupid, but I'm an in the moment guy, right? I always say, like, you know, the men's life expectancy is until 50, right? I'm just throwing that out there. That means I got 9 years left to live, right? So I'm in the moment. So I buy this stupid jersey to advertise myself, right? Because I love me some me. But the idea is for all the people that we talk to on Twitter, when they come to the tailgates, if they pass through, even if it's for 5 minutes, sign my shit. I want everyone to sign my jersey, right? And then I'm going to take that jersey and I'm only going to wear it 1 year because who knows, we may be the Warriors, the Red Wolves, whatever the fuck we may be. But I'm going to frame that, right? Because that's probably, to be honest, the only time I'm going to actually be a season ticket holder. So I want to hold in all the memories, man. And, you know, a lot of people, I'm a sentimental dude. I might, you know, say some dumb shit, but I'm a sentimental dude, man. So I want everyone to sign this jersey and I want to hang it up and that be something that I tell my kids, like, yeah, I was a season ticket holder that year. Yeah, these are all the people that I met. So it's weird, but I think it's a cool concept. So cool. That's right. You can catch me in the red zone lot at KG Skins 26. Take a number if you want to drink a beer.
All right. Well, look, next week we have our drafts special on Tuesday. We'll have a special guest talking all things draft, and we'll see you then. Hail to the team.
See you.